Want to call to order the council meeting of December 11th, 2017. Please call the roll.
Rich Bardock.
Here.
Peg Conway.
Here.
Ed Hattenbach.
Here.
Alita Kamine.
Here.
Tom Euthing.
Here.
Ray Warren.
Here.
Natalie Wolf.
Here.
Scott Farmer.
Here.
Kevin Frank.
Here.
Chief Wallace.
Here.
Rick.
And if everyone could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this is the first meeting of the council that was elected at the November elections. And in accordance with the charter of Amberley Village, the first order of business is to entertain nominations for mayor for the upcoming council term.
I'll go ahead. Oops, hold on. I'd like to nominate Tom Euthing for another term as Amberley's mayor. Lately, I have joked about him being our chief custodian because of the kinds of tasks he gets involved in with the community garden and the environmental stewardship committee, and most recently the ball fields. But that really just reflects his willingness to do whatever is needed for the village, and he has provided effective leadership, and I'm confident that will continue in this term. So moved.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that the council elects Tom Euthing as mayor. Is there any discussion? If
I
not,
would like to discuss.
Okay.
I want to reiterate what Councilmember Conway stated, and also say that I have been very, very pleased with Tom Euthing as mayor, and as evidenced especially by tonight, he's the welcoming committee for any guest who walks through these doors. So.
okay. If not, if there's no further discussion, it's been moved and seconded to elect Tom Euthing as mayor for the next 2 years. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Being noted. Being noted, it passes unanimously. Okay, now we will entertain nominations for vice mayor.
I move to nominate Natalie Wolf for vice mayor.
A second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that Natalie Wolf be appointed or be sworn in as vice mayor for the next 2 years. Is there any discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we elect Natalie Wolf as vice mayor for the next 2 years. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be noted that the election is unanimous. Okay, we will now have the administration of the oath of office for the mayor and vice mayor. And if our soon-to-be solicitor would...
Solicitor related?
down here.
Big screen like the chief had last time. Stand up there. What? Hold right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tom Euthing,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances of Amberley Village,
the Charter and ordinances of Amberley Village,
and to faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and to faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties as mayor
discharge the duties as mayor
for Amberley Village
for Amberley Village
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just watch the board. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Natalie Wolf,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Charter and ordinances of Amberley Village,
the Charter and ordinances of Amberley Village,
and to faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and to faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties as Vice Mayor
discharge the duties as Vice Mayor
for Amberley Village
for Amberley Village
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
I was about to do a video in case you weren't here. Go for it. Let's get a picture.
Okay, the next order of business is the appointment of the solicitor, treasurer, and counsel. And, okay, next order of business is the appointment of the committees. And I hereby would like to make a motion that we appoint the committees as on the sheet in front of everyone. These are in fact, given the fact that the council is continuing as the same council from the last term, my recommendation is that we continue with the same committee structure that we've had for the past 2 years. And as part of that is, in addition to the committees, it's the appointment of the council representative to the Planning Commission and Zoning Appeals Board, which would be Councilman Bardak, and for the council representative to the Stormwater Advisory Board, Councilman Warren, and then the representative to the Environmental Stewardship Committee is myself. So I move that we appoint these as committees.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we appoint the committee structure as included in the sheet in front of everyone. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we appoint these committees. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Be noted that that resolution passes unanimously. Next is the appointment of solicitor, treasurer, and clerk of council. And for each of these, I'm going to first make a motion to waive the 3 readings for these ordinances. So I would first like to make a motion that we waive the 3 readings with respect to ordinance 2017-13, which would be the appointment of Kevin Frank as solicitor. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we waive the 3 readings on ordinance 2017-13. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to recuse myself since I'm married to the prosecutor. She's on this agenda. So for this particular appointment, I'm going to recuse myself.
Be it noted that Councilman Bardak has recused himself with respect to ordinance 2017-13. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we waive the 3 readings with respect to ordinance 2017-13. Please call the roll.
Rich Bardak. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Alita Kamine. Yes. Tom Huthing.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
I would now like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2017-13, which appoints Kevin Frank as our village solicitor and Stacy Lefton as the village prosecutor in that ordinance.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-13. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-13. Please call the roll.
Rich Bardak. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Alita Kamine. Yes. Tom Huthing.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
Okay, and then because these appointments are needed immediately, and this is in accordance with, the way the village has always operated, I'd like to declare this as an emergency measure, which would allow this ordinance to go into immediate effect.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we declare this ordinance as an emergency measure to allow it to go into immediate effect. Is there any discussion? Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-13 as an emergency measure. Please call the roll.
Rich Barda. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Lita Kamine. Yes. Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
Okay, I would now like to move on to ordinance 2017-14, which would appoint Rick Kay as our village treasurer. Rick has served as our treasurer for quite a few years. Rick, how many years exactly? 9 or 10. And I think has done a great job over that period of time. So I would first like to make a motion with respect to ordinance 2017-14 that we waive the 3 readings. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we waive the 3 readings with respect to ordinance 2017-14. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we waive the 3 readings on ordinance 2017-14. Please call the roll.
Rich Barda.
Yes.
Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Lita Kamine. Yes. Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
I would now like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2017-14 appointing Rick Kay as village treasurer.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-14 appointing Rick Kay as village treasurer. Is there any discussion? If not, please call the roll with respect to ordinance 2017-14.
Rich Barda.
Yes.
Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Lita Kamine. Yes. Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
And then I would like to make a motion that we declare ordinance 2017-14 as an emergency, which would allow this to go into immediate effect.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-14 as an emergency measure, allowing it to go into immediate effect. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, please call the roll with respect to declaring ordinance 2017-14 as an emergency measure.
Rich Barda.
Yes.
Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Lita Kamine.
Yes.
Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
Okay, we'd now like to move on to ordinance 2017-15, which would appoint Nicole Browder as our clerk of council. And I believe you've completed at least 6 years as the clerk, right?
11, I believe.
Okay. And again,
Since
you've done
2006.
Done a great job. So I would,
She's only 15 years old.
12 years in June, right?
Right. Yeah.
so I would first like to make a motion that we waive the 3 readings with respect to ordinance 2017-15.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we waive the 3 readings with respect to ordinance 2017-15. Is there any discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Rich Barda.
Yes.
Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Lita Kamine. Yes. Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
Okay, I would now like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2017-15, appointing Nicole Browder as clerk of council. And
Second.
it has been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance 2017-15, appointing Nicole Browder as clerk of council. Is there any discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Rich Barda.
Yes.
Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Lita Kamine. Yes. Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
And then finally, I would like to make a motion that we declare ordinance 2017-15 as an emergency measure, which would allow it to go into immediate effect.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-15 as an emergency measure. Please call the roll.
Rich Bardak?
Yes.
Peg Conway?
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach?
Yes.
Alita Kamine?
Yes.
Tom Muething?
Yes.
Ray Warren?
Yes.
Natalie Wolf?
Yes.
Okay, and then just two other items with respect to appointment that I wanted to try to handle tonight. First, we have an income tax review board here in Amberley Village. The income tax review board is made up of 3 members. It has not met in recent time, but if there was ever a need to review something with respect to the income taxes, the board would meet. It's a 3-member board. 2 of the members are appointed by council. I would like to make a motion that we again appoint Judy Barron and Ben Hunt, which are the representatives that we as the council appointed 2 years ago, and both members are willing to continue to serve on the review board. In addition to those 2, the village manager has an appointment, and Rick Kay is the appointment from the village manager. So I hereby move that we appoint Judy Barron and Ben Hunt to the Income Tax Review Board.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we appoint Judy Barron and Ben Hunt to the Income Tax Review Board. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we appoint Judy Barron and Ben Hunt to the Income Tax Review Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be noted that that is approved unanimously. The other appointment that I wanted to do tonight is, I think it was about 2 years ago, 2 years ago in, I think probably March or something, that we, council approved the appointment of Scott Rubenstein to the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. That was to fill a term that was vacated when Larry McGraw had to resign from the Planning Commission for the similar reason that former Councilman Doran had to resign. I would hereby like to make a motion that we again appoint Scott Rubenstein to a term which would expire in the end of 2020.
Second.
Okay. So it has been moved and seconded that we appoint Scott Rubenstein to to again take on a role for the Planning Commission in a term that would expire in 2020. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. Is it a 4-year term or a 3-year term?
I'm gonna,
Oh, okay.
I
get it.
We were a little sloppy in our work, and we failed to appoint him a year ago at the end of the term, so it's my fault. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we appoint Scott. Is there a question? Moved and seconded that we appoint Scott Rubenstein to the Planning Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it noted that that passes unanimously. And that completes the appointments for the council at this point. You know, there may be things that come up later on in our term, but that takes care of right now. Next item on the agenda is our minutes from our last regularly scheduled meeting. These minutes were circulated in advance, and there was one small change that was circulated this afternoon. Are there any further changes to those minutes? If not, we could consider the minutes approved. We will now move on to the finance report for October 2017.
Included in your packet is a summary of the finances for the general fund for the month of October 2017. Focuses on the general fund, and the first part of this is for the earnings tax. The earnings tax for the month of October totaled $227,000. This is up about 14% from October of 2016's collection of $199,000. The total amount received for earnings tax year-to-date is $2.2 million. Our earnings tax estimate for 2017 was set last December of 16 at $3 million, and we have collected about 75% of the earnings tax year-to-date. The village did not receive any real estate tax distributions in October from the county. We did receive about $4,500 in local government funds through the state of Ohio. So that brings our total revenue for the month of October at $383,000. It gives our total revenue for year-to-date of $4,145,000. So we've collected about 86% of the general fund as of the end of October. On the expense side, the expenses for the month of October total a little over $618,000, and that put us at an expenditure rate of $3.6 million, and our budget for 2017 is $4.6 million, so we've expended 78% of the budget so far this year. And that leaves us with an unencumbered general fund balance of $5.8 million, and that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for the manager? If not, we will now move on to, we have on the agenda right now a citizen to speak to the council, Rabbi Daniel Bogart.
Thank you all. Thanks for this opportunity. In particular, thank you to Vice Mayor Wolf for letting me know about this opportunity. I'm a proud resident of Amberley and a proud employee of a synagogue that calls Amberley home. But it's sort of a complicated legacy being from the neighborhood that I am from. The very first thing I was told by my realtor when we were looking at houses, he said it sort of in a joking way, as we were driving down Meadowbrook, was you wouldn't have been allowed to live here 50 years ago. Because of course 50 years ago, Jews and people of color weren't allowed to live in my neighborhood. Like it or not, this is our legacy. It's the legacy all of us have, whether we have lived in Amberley for 6 months or whether we have lived here for 60 years. We come from a place where at one point it mattered what your religion was and what the color of your skin was in regards to whether or not you could live here. It's the legacy we have, but it's not the legacy we have to give our kids. In a world and in a nation that seems more and more to not live up to the best of our values, let our kids say that they come from a place, from a village that stood up and said, not here, not again, never again. If we can't be, as they said, a shining city on a hill, let us be an aspirational image of what a community really can be, of what a village really can be. I hope and I pray that each of you will not just vote for the non-discrimination ordinance, but will support it loudly and proudly. Let our kids grow up knowing that to be from this place, to be from the village, is to come from a place where we stood up and we said that every human being is deserving of dignity, that every human being is deserving of protection, of equality, and of justice. Thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you do for me, but most importantly, thank you for the work that you do for my kids.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Are there any questions? All right, we'll now move on to committee reports, and the first committee this evening is the Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. First item on my agenda is to introduce ordinance number 2017-16, which is amending income tax and fire appropriations for the fiscal year 2017. We have to periodically adjust appropriations for the various funds, so accordingly there are 3 adjustments which we need to do in the general fund. The first one is to increase appropriations for wages and benefits to the fire department by an additional $22,000, and an increase in the income tax refund, the amount of $42,500, and reduce the appropriations for the police levy fund by $8,000. Accordingly, I move that we amend appropriation pursuant to ordinance number 2017-16 as stated with numbers previously addressed.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-16. Is there any discussion? If not, please call the roll with respect to the adoption of ordinance 2017-16.
Rich Barda. Yes. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Alita Kaymine. Yes. Tom Muething.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
The next item on, that we should address is the introduced ordinance number 2017-17, making appropriations for expenses for the village for the fiscal year of 2018. We recently met, Finance Committee recently met and went over all the appropriations necessary for the general fund for 2018, which actually increase our expenditure, our budget expenditures to $5.1 million. The part of that increase is the $320,000 change in our utilization of, attributable to the decrease in the police levy. So if we look at the expenses incurred in 2017 and our budget expenses for 2018, that constitutes $320,000. Additionally, there was, we have an additional expense for the heroin task force of $120,000. So those are the two major increases in expenditures, budget expenditures for 2018. Accordingly, I want to make introduce ordinance number 2017-17, an ordinance making appropriation for the expenses for the village for the year 2018.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance 2017-17, which makes appropriations for the upcoming year 2018. Is there any discussion?
Should I enumerate the appropriations? $5.1 million.
I don't think that is necessary. The one thing that is worth noting is with respect to the $120,000 for the heroin task force, for those residents that may watch this or the residents that are here, that is offset by a similar revenue amount that we will receive from Hamilton County. Hamilton County is actually funding that position. We are hosting the position here in Amberley Village, but Hamilton County actually funds it. And Ed, the only other thing you might want to mention is with respect to the non-general fund appropriations that we're going through, what the process is, the amount that we are appropriating is simply the ending fund balance estimated at the end of the year plus the revenue.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay, so the non-general funds which are going to be having appropriations are the street maintenance and repair fund totaling roughly $800,000, law enforcement trust fund of $37,000, motor vehicle tax fund of $108,000, police and fire pension revenue fund of $51,000, the mayor's court computer fund $19,000, police levy fund of $1,290,000, which is from the police levy, $32,000 from the PSEP 9/11 fund, $175,000 from the employee severance fund, which the purpose of that is we try to fund any potential retirements on a current basis as opposed to what we had in previous years, took a solid hit in the stomach when somebody did retire. We Thrive grant of $3,400, capital projects funds of $329,500, stormwater utility fund of $535,000, unclaimed money funds $15,000, mayor's court agency fund $140,000, employee health insurance fund of $60,000, Valley Band Escrow Fund is $23,000. Kenwood Jeds Agency Fund, $1,075,000. $25,000 also from the Kenwood Jeds Escrow Agency Fund. $15,000 for expenditures to administer the Judge Fund. And that is welcome.
Okay, and it's also worth noting that the the amounts are appropriated, but the Finance Committee meets on a monthly basis, and there's a robust process whereby all expenditures for all funds are reviewed on a monthly basis. So even though the amounts are appropriated, which is in accordance with our past practices, we do review those on a regular basis. Okay, it is moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-17, making appropriations for fiscal year 2018. Please call the roll.
Rich Ruddock. Yes. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hattenbach.
Yes.
Alita Kamine.
Yes.
Tom Heating.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
The third item on my agenda is the annual insurance renewal. And with this, we had a meeting with our representative from our insurance agency, and we're happy to report that the renewal, the insurance renewal for for the year December 2017 through 2018 will be $73,094, which is an increase of roughly $1,400 to $1,500 over the premium which we paid for the previous year. Also, a little side note that the insurance premiums are significantly less than what we were paying 8 years ago. We have been working extremely hard at maintaining the insurance coverage at as the lowest possible price and maintaining the coverage at the highest level possible. Currently, I move that we authorize the village manager to enter into a contract with Argonaut for the property and casualty insurance for the year December 27, 2017 through December 27, 2018. The premium amount of $73,094.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-36, authorizing the village manager to enter into the annual insurance contract. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-36. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
And the final item for my report is to introduce resolution number 2017-37, authorizing the transfer of unclaimed monies to the Fund 9101 Unclaimed Monies Agency Fund. But this amount moved to authorize transfer of unclaimed funds, the amount of $309.75. So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-37, which is an annual process that we go through every year, which would authorize the transfer of unclaimed monies to the Unclaimed Monies Agency Fund. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-37. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. We will now move on to the Public Building and Parks Group.
Okay, thanks. The committee met on December 4th, where staff presented a proposal to implement new energy-efficient lighting on the exterior of this building, which would save money as well as take advantage of a rebate from Duke. They had obtained quotes, and the best one was from Capacity Energy Solutions at a cost of $18,701. With a rebate of $2,044, that would make a net cost to the village of $16,657. The project will involve replacement of 15 parking lot pole lights, 12 building wall pack fixtures, 4 building floodlights on the front, and it will also require retrofitting of 8 down lights over sidewalks and entrances and 4 bollard fixtures on the brick plaza in front. This particular project was chosen after a thorough review of lighting at all village-owned facilities because of the significant impact it will have. Depending on the fixture, the estimated kilowatt-hour savings ranges from about 1/4 up to 2/3. The estimated annual savings to the village on energy costs and maintenance are $42,094 with a payback of 3.8 years. So therefore, I move that we pass Resolution 2017-38, authorizing the village manager to enter into a contract to purchase energy-efficient lighting for the municipal building. So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-38, authorizing the village manager to enter into contract to purchase energy-efficient lighting for the municipal building. Is there any discussion? Lee?
I just wanted to say I think this is a great move. It's certainly, energy efficiency is an area where we get very lucky that there's sort of usually a double or a triple bottom line. We get the energy efficiency, we get the cost savings. It's really great. I know this is the first step. I think our community is very supportive generally of this kind of, obviously of us saving money, but of us being greener. And I think the opportunity to, hopefully this is the first step. We have more buildings and more things and more opportunities to do this. So hopefully this is the first of many, but this is great. And I can't beat the cost savings part of that. It's great. So thank you.
Not to pile on the commendations, but I do want to commend Scott and Wes and whoever brought this to your attention, and the committee and encouraged us to take this step. Most of us are already doing this in our own homes, and I think it's fantastic that the village is taking this step to actually retrofit our fixtures. And as Alita said, who knows what could be next? Maybe solar panels, because we know that's within the zoning code now.
Just want a clarification. Ms. Conway stumbled at $42,000.
Oh, did I?
$4,294.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you,
No,
Ed.
I don't want to overstate the benefits, but let's go on record and make it correct.
$4,294 in savings on energy costs and maintenance.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing that there's none, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-38, authorizing the village manager to enter into the contract for energy-efficient lighting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimous.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I will now move on to the police and fire.
Continue. The committee actually has met twice since our last meeting, on November 21st and December 4th, to discuss several items. The first item concerns the alarm monitoring, which is basically a continuation of the process that the chief has been working on for some time in order to update our alarm monitoring service and make it more widely available to residents. Council previously authorized the purchase of equipment that the department has been testing, and as they got further into the implementation process, they realized a need to ensure that alarms could be transmitted via cellular service, not just landlines. And in order to do that, the village needed to contract with a vendor who could convert and relay those signals to our village dispatch. So trying to implement that process created some obstacles to ensure that the village was not assuming any liability that it shouldn't. So the chief and our law director have been working diligently with Honeywell AlarmNet to get the contract language ironed out, and tonight's resolution authorizes the agreement with Honeywell to provide the cellular service for the alarm monitoring. Additionally, the village has created its own waiver that residents who sign up for monitoring will be asked to sign. So the police department is now in the final stages of testing the new system and anticipates going live probably in February. The committee was very appreciative of the chief's efforts with assist from Kevin to move this process forward. It has been a slog, but we're getting there. So therefore, I move that we adopt resolution number 2017-39, authorizing the village manager to enter into a contract with AlarmNet to enable mobile alarm services for residents. So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-39, authorizing the village manager to enter into a contract with AlarmNet. Is there any discussion? If If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-39. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
The next item concerns a police cruiser. A 2014 police cruiser was involved in an accident on November 28th when it was struck while parked on Ronald Reagan Highway, running traffic. Fortunately, the officer was uninjured, but the vehicle sustained significant damage to the rear quarter of the car and was declared a total loss by the insurance company. This cruiser was on the road daily, had just over 76,000 miles on it, and needs to be replaced. Lebanon Ford holds the state contract and has a few extra black cruisers on their lot that the village can purchase immediately instead of waiting 3 to 6 months if it had to be ordered. So the price of the 2017 Ford Utility Interceptor is $32,988. Our usual vendor for outfitting the vehicles, called Camp Safety, has quoted a price not to exceed $7,000 to equip it as a police vehicle, and this does include reusing whatever equipment is salvageable from the damaged vehicle. And then there is a cost for graphics not to exceed $850. Oh, $850. My gosh, I can't read numbers tonight. Sorry about that. So the total cost will be $40,838. After our $500 deductible, the insurance payment will be $12,236, which results in a net cost to the village of $28,601 to replace this cruiser. So therefore, I move that we adopt resolution number 2017-40, authorizing the village manager to enter into a contract to purchase the police cruiser. So moved.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-40, which would authorize the purchase of an additional police cruiser.
Replacement cruiser, not an additional cruiser.
Any discussion?
I just want to reiterate that we are so grateful that no one was injured in this accident. That would have been really, really bad news. So if all we have to do is replace the police cruiser, we are fortunate. That was a scary accident.
And we're replacing a police cruiser, but we would have had to replace it probably 18 months from now. Anyway.
Yeah, I should have said that. We did ask that in the committee meeting, and it would have been replaced at the end of 18 or in early 19.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we...
One more question.
Sorry.
The driver of the other vehicle, will his or her insurance company be responsible for reimbursing us for any of the additional costs? Or this is our bottom number, period?
This is our bottom number, period. Likely our insurance company will pursue the driver in the accident.
Thank you.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-40. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
Okay, and then continuing, one last item concerns our contract with Gulf Manor for EMS services. Earlier this year, they formalized their discussions with the Little Miami Joint Fire and Rescue District and will officially become a member of their organization effective January 1st, 2018. And we need to assign our contract to that district. It doesn't change any of the terms of our contract. The same things will be in effect. The significant change that residents should be aware of is that the signage on the vehicles, instead of saying Gulf Manor Fire and EMS, it will most likely read Little Miami Joint Fire and Rescue District. In addition, the agreement between Gulf Manor and Little Miami states that there is no current or anticipated need to replace the Gulf Manor Fire Station, but any substitute station shall be located within a mile, which is to meet the standards set forth by the National Fire Protection Association. So I move that we adopt Resolution 2017-41, authorizing the assignment of agreement with Gulf Manor Fire Department to the Little Miami Joint Fire District.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-41, authorizing the assignment of our agreement with the Gulf Manor Fire Department to the Little Miami Joint Fire District. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2017-41. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it noted that the resolution passes unanimously.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Now move on to the Land Development Committee. And as Chair of the Land Development Committee, I have two items. First is our third reading on ordinance 2017-10, which establishes a TIF, a tax incremental fund, for the north site associated with the new soon-to-open Mercy Medical Office Building. This was something, as I said, we've had the two previous readings. The Land Development Committee has worked throughout 2017 to first get educated on TIFs, and then secondly, to look at specifically the TIF for this, but also to start preparing the possibility of a TIF associated with the former Dixon Greeting Card site. The TIF in this case, the committee, the Land Development Committee, concluded is a big benefit to the village. It allows us to accumulate funds from the tax increment on the improvement on this property and use that for projects that close to this property, but possibly even further up on Ridge, etc. So I hereby move that we adopt ordinance 2017-10, establishing a tax increment financing fund for the north side. And I should note that the district has been defined, and it includes the 2 acres of the Mercy Medical Building, as well as a little bit more than 5 acres to the west of that building as you move towards our maintenance property. And that really is the property as we see that has potential for development in the future. But any future development that occurs on those 5 acres, we could also use the tax increment to help increase the fund. But if in the event we decide we don't want to include that, we could basically cancel the fund at that point, and it would only include the funds that have accumulated to date. So I hereby move to approve ordinance 2017-10. Second. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-10. Is there any discussion?
Yeah. One of the things we learned about the TIF is that, well, as the mayor said, the money can be used for public improvements that are sort of contiguous to that property. So, and I don't know how many people actually watch this video, but residents are wondering, like, for example, what would be a public improvement, or what maybe could that money be used for? To think in terms of pathways or bridges to cross the street, safer streets, roundabouts, that kind of something that near that area to make the area safer for pedestrians, or I mean any number of things. But that is the kind of public improvement that the TIF can help to pay for.
And in fact, I mean, if the TIF had been in existence and we were looking at funding the left turn signal on that has just been installed, the TIF would have been something we could have used for the left turn signal. Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-10. Please call the roll.
Rich Barda. Yes. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Hatchback.
Yes.
Rita K-Mine. Yes. Tom Hagen.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Kathy Wood.
Yes.
And now I would like to make a motion that we declare this ordinance as an emergency. We had originally hoped to approve this at our last meeting, but there was the Cincinnati School Board Finance Committee needed to meet first, and they had not had the opportunity to meet, so we were delayed a month. It is critical that this fund be established before the end of the year, and therefore I would like to make the motion to declare this an emergency, which would allow us to establish the fund before the end of the year, and that way we would start capturing funds as the property is revalued.
Second.
It is moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-10 under an emergency measure which would allow it to go into immediate effect. Is there any discussion? If not, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 2017-10 as an emergency measure. Please call the roll.
Rich Barda. Peg Conway.
Yes.
Ed Longoria.
Yes.
Alita Kamine. Yes. Tom King.
Yes.
Ray Warren.
Yes.
Natalie Wolf.
Yes.
The next item I have relates to this a little bit. It's resolution 2017-42, which would authorize the village manager to amend our lease agreement on the property related to the Mercy Medical Building. What the amendment would provide is that under the lease agreement, any tax payments, real estate tax payments that come about because of the betterment are the responsibility of the lessee on the property. And what this does is it equates the term taxes with fees, basically in lieu of taxes, which the payments that end up getting paid on this property into the TIP are not referred to as taxes, they're fees in lieu of taxes. And so what this does is amends the lease to equate those two terms, and our lessee on the property, Ken Sherman Properties, is agreeable to make that change. So I hereby move that we adopt resolution 2017-42, authorizing our village manager to make those amendments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-42, authorizing the village manager to amend our lease agreement for the north side. Any discussion? If not, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2017-42. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Be noted the resolution passes unanimously. And that concludes my report for the Land Development Committee. We'll now move on to the Health, Education, and Welfare.
Thank you, Mayor. The Health, Education, and Welfare Committee met on December 5th to continue discussion of a non-discrimination ordinance that would expand the class of individuals protected from discrimination in Amberley. LGBTQ individuals would be afforded equal protection in areas of commerce, housing, and public accommodations. Currently, there are no federal protections for these individuals. Recently, the Justice Department has begun dismantling protections afforded under Title IX and Title VII of the Civil Rights Act and pertaining to education, gender, and employment. Attorney General Jeff Sessions earlier this summer told a group of Justice Department interns that such matters are best left to state and local governments to decide. We are a local government, so we are trying to do the right thing in this area. And now I would like to give a report on We Thrive. Amberley, as most council members know, maybe Alita, you're the newest, but you may not know this, but Amberley is a charter member of We Thrive, and you do. So that's good. We Thrive is an initiative of the Hamilton County Public Health to create a culture of health, safety, and vitality throughout Hamilton County. As chair of the Health, Education, and Welfare Committee, I have also been representing Amberley at the Hamilton County Public Health quarterly We Thrive learning collaboratives. At these meetings, each We Thrive community has the opportunity to learn about current public health initiatives from the opioid crisis to infant mortality. On the website, watchusthrive.org, you can read about the pathways and initiatives that Amberley has and is currently working on. On the We Thrive blog, individual communities are highlighted for the work they are doing to make their communities more healthy, safe, and vital. This past summer, Amberley was highlighted twice, first for our pedestrian safety resolution and then for our non-discrimination resolution. Last month at the collaborative, we learned how to use We Thrive as a tool to better communicate our achievements in Amberley with current and potential residents. I have communicated with Scott the need to convene a public outreach committee meeting to review some of these methods, and as if Nicole could read my mind and see that I was typing out these notes, before I was finished, I got a notification, a doodle poll. for public outreach. So hope the committee quickly responds to that and we can get it scheduled. Finally, each year, We Thrive holds a recognition event to honor the work the participating communities have accomplished in their pathways and initiatives. And this year's event is tomorrow from 5:30 to 8 at the Mayerson JCC. So especially because, no, it's Wednesday. Oh, today's Monday. I'm already out of town. It's already Friday. Okay, Wednesday from 5:30 to 8 at the JCC. I hope to see as many council members there as possible since it is so close. I know I think that Mayor Muthing, you and Councilperson Conway, I saw that you RSVP'd. So it really is the whole thing. No, there's a program. Yeah. But you can stop by. Anyway, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Any questions? If not, that concludes our committee reports. We'll now move on to the manager's report.
I'd like to mention two items from the manager's report. The first is in regards to leaf collection. When you talk with our maintenance department, they typically will tell you that each leaf collection season is different, and this one is no different. It's been different this year, and I think the most noticeable difference is that the leaves have fallen late this year. Perhaps you've experienced that with your own yards, but in our collection of the leaves, we've noticed that significantly during the month of November. The number of loads that we've collected as well as the number of yards that we have collected has been down about 35 to 36% during the month of November. So this is one of those years where the leaves fell late, and they fell late in November after Thanksgiving. But we will continue picking up leaves. We are back on schedule. We have been working some overtime, so we're back on schedule as of today. And so we will continue collecting leaves through December the 29th. The residents are encouraged to continue raking leaves to the street up through December 29th. The second item I wanted to mention is that a while back, the village authorized a application for a grant on Farmcrest. This is a subdivision in the village where the streets are made of concrete and they are in deteriorating condition, and it's necessary to replace those, but it's a very high dollar project, and so the village has pursued grants. This is actually the third year that we have submitted a grant for that particular neighborhood. We've modified the grant each time. Unfortunately, for this upcoming year, we did not get approved for the grant, which means that we will be trying again, and our mode of operation this next time will be to increase the amount of local funding that we're going to be putting to the street towards the project. But each time we apply for the grant, we believe we have a great application. There typically are various factors why we do not get selected. Part of it is our situation as the village. There are other communities that have streets in worse condition, and there are other communities that get more points based on their financial situation. And so we're in a situation where we're going to have to increase our local share in order to try to improve our chances of securing an Ohio Public Works grant coming back to the village. So I just wanted to let residents know that we were not successful on Farmcrest, but we will continue pursuing that this next year. And that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for the manager? If not, we'll move on to the chief's report.
Yeah, I just have a couple items. The first item I want to cover tomorrow night. We have tomorrow night we have our menorah lighting here at Village Hall with the Orthodox community at 4 p.m. here in council chambers. If anybody would like to join us, we'd appreciate it. The next is I just want to talk about our package delivery. Our video we made. Big thanks to ESP Media, did a great job on it. It was been picked up by some of the local news stations and talked about it on the radio, and it's actually gotten a lot of good traction. We still have a few residents that decide to have the package delivered to their house. On Tuesday, we actually had a resident had a package stolen off their porch. So the number of thefts that we normally would have is way down. So the process is going well. People are picking up their packages in a timely manner. We have an area we keep to track them. Things have went really well so far. The last thing is I just want to point out that ESP has been helping us on a lot of different things, and this is the 3rd anniversary of ESP Media with council. So I just want to point that out and say thanks to them. And, the videos they're doing and helping us with is actually a great promotional thing for the village, helping us to get the information out there. So I really appreciate the guys here, Rob and his camera guys and stuff. Concludes my report.
And related to that, I was going to, that kind of takes care of my mayor's report.
Okay, we'll just call this the chief and mayor's report. Go ahead.
But I think ESP Media, they've now been videoing the meetings 3 years ago now. And then, I know when we considered that the whole thing 3 years ago, we were kind of looking at it. But, I think it's been, a classic case of much improved service, better quality product, and at a much lower cost. So, I hope that we look, continue to use the SPA on things like your videos for packaging, things like that, because they do a great job. And that concludes my mayor. I really don't have anything. Next month, I will, similar to what I've done in the past, I will try to look back on 2017 from a council perspective and look forward to 2018 from a council perspective as far as priorities for us. Just in summary, I think 2017 has been a great year as far as foundation for the future, but I think 2018 we have a lot of things that we're going to have to accomplish to really move the village forward. Is there any new business?
This is not necessarily new business, so I'm cheating a little bit. So I just wanted to comment. The streets did not have a committee report this time, but I did want to comment on the new traffic light, turning light that was installed on Ridge Road. And I think that, personally, I think it's been working great. The number of cars that can turn during the signal is, about 6 to 8 cars, I think, or maybe more. And so I think it's really improved the traffic flow at that intersection. And again, I'd like to thank the village manager for taking the lead on that in terms of getting the Ohio traffic report and ultimately, getting that turning signal installed. So thank you again.
Any other new business? Okay, I would now like to make a motion that we, as a council, adjourn into executive session, the purpose of which is to conduct, and Kevin, help me with the right language, conduct an employee...
It's an evaluation, I think, of the village manager, and the magic words under the statute, I believe this fits, is to consider the employment and compensation of the manager.
So this is to complete, we started the process at our last meeting. This is to complete the evaluation of our manager, and it is part of our annual review of the compensation and performance of our village manager. And so I hereby move that we adjourn into executive session.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adjourn into executive session. Please call the roll.
Yes.
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 And for those residents that are here, we will come back into general session after we've completed the executive session, but it is not expected that we will be in general session for very long thereafter. It will be pretty much just adjourning the meeting at that point. So we thank you very much for your attendance this evening.
You all have a great holiday. Happy New Year.
Be well.